I wasted my 20s on you, she said before moving in with him. So I blocked her and left the... I came home 2 days early from a consulting gig in Atlanta to surprise Keisha. We'd been together since college, 7 years of building something I thought was unshakable. I had the ring hidden in my closet, platinum band with 3 small diamonds. Nothing flashy because that wasn't us. The key turned in the lock of our apartment in Brooklyn, and immediately I knew something was off. There was music playing, not the neo-soul she usually had on, but something else, something harder. Hello friends, before I continue the story, please support the channel by becoming a subscriber and giving the video a like. Also, let us know in the comments where you're watching right now. Keisha was in our bedroom, but she wasn't alone. A dude I'd never seen before was sitting on our bed, on my side of the bed, scrolling through his phone like he lived there. She was folding his clothes, integrating them into our dresser, into the drawers I'd assembled from IKEA on a Sunday morning 2 years ago. They both looked up when I walked in, and neither of them had the decency to look shocked. The guy just nodded at me like I was the interruption, like I was the guest in my own home. Keisha's face did something I'd never seen before, something between annoyance and relief, like she'd been waiting for this moment but wished it had come later. "Devin," she said flatly, "you're back early." Her tone wasn't apologetic or scared or guilty. It was irritated, like I'd shown up to a meeting I hadn't been invited to. "The client signed off faster than expected," I said, my voice sounding strange in my own ears. I looked at the stranger, then back at her. "What's going on?" She sighed, actually sighed, and I watched her shoulders drop like I was being unreasonable. "This is Marcus," she said, gesturing to him like she was introducing a colleague. "We've been seeing each other for a few months now." Marcus stood up then, extended his hand like we were at a networking event. He was taller than me, lighter-skinned, had that pretty boy look that I'd never had, the kind of dude who probably got by on his face his whole life. "Good to meet you, man," he said, his voice smooth and unbothered. I stared at his hand until he dropped it, and somewhere in my chest, something fundamental shifted, broke, rearranged itself into a shape I didn't recognize. "Months," I said, looking at Keisha. "You've been cheating on me for months?" She rolled her eyes, actually rolled her eyes. "Don't be dramatic, Devin. You and I both know things haven't been right between us for a while now." "I didn't know that," I said. "I thought we were fine. I thought we were building something." She laughed, short and sharp, and it cut through me like glass. "Building what?" she said. "A boring life in a boring apartment with boring plans?" She crossed her arms. "Marcus has a penthouse in Manhattan. He takes me to places I've only seen on Instagram. We actually live, Devin. We don't just exist." Every word was a punch I couldn't block. "You could have told me you were unhappy," I managed. "We could have talked about this, worked on it, gone to therapy or something." She shook her head like I was proving her point. "That's exactly what I'm talking about," she said. "Your solution to everything is to talk it to death, to process it until it makes sense. Some things don't need to make sense, Devin. Some things just are." Marcus put his hand on her shoulder, a gesture of ownership that made my vision narrow. I wanted to swing on him, wanted to feel his face break under my fist, but I just stood there like a statue, frozen in my own life. "So that's it," I said. "You're just done? After 7 years?" Keisha looked at me then, really looked at me, and her eyes were cold. "I wasted my 20s on you," she said. The words hung in the air like smoke, choking me. "Looking at you now, I don't even know what I saw in the first place." Marcus squeezed her shoulder, and she leaned into him, and I watched them exist together in the space that used to be ours. I thought about the ring in my closet. I thought about the reservations I'd made at her favorite restaurant for next weekend. I thought about the life I'd imagined, the brownstone we'd talked about buying in Bed-Stuy, the kids whose names we'd already picked out, the future that had felt so solid just an hour ago. Now it was all smoke, and I was choking on it. "Get out," I said quietly. "Excuse me," Keisha said. "This is my apartment too." "Get out," I said again, louder this time. "Both of you, get the fuck out right now." Marcus stepped forward, his chest puffed up. Yo, you need to calm down, bro. I'm not your bro, I said, and something in my voice made him step back. I looked at Keisha. You want to be with him? Fine. But you're not doing it here, not in the space we built together. Get out. She grabbed her purse, her phone, kissed Marcus like I wasn't even there. I'll come back for my stuff when you're at work, she said. Don't be here when I do. They left, and I stood in that bedroom for I don't know how long, just breathing, just existing in the space between who I'd been that morning and whoever I was going to have to become. The apartment felt different now, contaminated, like every surface held evidence of a betrayal I hadn't seen coming. I sat on the floor, back against the bed, and waited for tears that never came. The next morning, I called my boy Jamal. I need your truck, I said, and I need you not to ask questions yet. Within 3 hours, everything I owned was in boxes. I took my clothes, my books, my records, my laptop, my PlayStation, everything that was definitively mine. Everything we'd bought together, I left exactly where it was, like a museum of a life I no longer wanted to remember. The framed photos on the walls stayed up, but I turned them all backward so they faced the plaster instead of the room. I called the landlord, explained the situation in the vaguest terms possible. He was Dominican, older, had that world-weary understanding that comes from seeing too much human bullshit. Keep the deposit, he said. Just be out by the end of the month. I was out by the end of the day. Jamal helped me move everything into a storage unit in Queens. Didn't say a word the whole time, just moved boxes and furniture like we were performing a ritual. At his apartment that night, he finally spoke. You want to talk about it? Not yet, I said. But I need you to know I'm not going back. He nodded, handed me a beer. You're too calm about this, man. It's unsettling. I'm not calm, I said. I'm in shock. There's a difference. But the truth was, I didn't know what I was feeling beyond a deep, bone-tired emptiness that made everything feel distant and muffled. The next day, I blocked Keisha on everything. Phone, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, every platform I could think of. I didn't send a message, didn't explain, didn't give her the satisfaction of a response. I just erased her from my digital life like she'd erased me from her real one. Then I deleted all the apps from my phone entirely because I didn't trust myself not to unblock her in a moment of weakness. I didn't want to see her posting photos with Marcus, didn't want to torture myself with evidence of how easily she'd replaced me. My routine became mechanical. Wake up, go to work, come home to Jamal's couch, go to the gym, come back, sleep. I was functional, productive even, but I was operating on autopilot, going through motions without feeling any of them. My boss noticed something was off, asked if everything was okay. Family stuff, I lied. Because explaining that your girlfriend of 7 years left you for someone richer felt too pathetic to say out loud. 6 weeks into my new reality, my boss called me into her office. Devin, we're expanding our operations to Denver, she said. I want you to lead the new office, manage the entire Western region. It's a significant promotion, senior director level, substantial raise, full relocation package. Denver was 1,000 miles away from Brooklyn, from Keisha, from the ghost of who I used to be. When would I start? I asked. 8 weeks, she said. I know it's a big ask, but frankly, you seem like you could use a change of scenery. She didn't say she knew about Keisha, but she knew something. Women always know. I'll do it, I said without hesitation. That night, I felt something other than numbness for the first time in weeks, not happiness exactly, but something like hope, or at least the possibility of it. Denver was clean and spread out and nothing like New York. The mountains in the distance felt like a promise of something bigger, something beyond the smallness of heartbreak. I threw myself into the work, 60-hour weeks, building a team from scratch, learning a new city through restaurant recommendations and hiking trails. Nobody knew me here, nobody knew my story, and that anonymity felt like mercy. I started running in the mornings, something I'd never done before. 5 miles became 10, 10 became half marathons. I joined a Black professionals group, went to networking events, forced myself to be social even when I wanted to be alone. At one of these events, I met Simone. She worked in tech, had moved to Denver from Oakland, had locks down to her shoulders and a laugh that sounded like music. We talked about everything except our past relationships at first. She was funny and smart and had a way of listening that made you want to tell her things. 3 months after we met, she asked me out for coffee. "Just so we're clear," she said, "this is a date, not a networking thing." I smiled for what felt like the first time in months. That's clear. Dating Simone was different from anything I'd experienced with Keisha. There was no game playing, no performing, no trying to be someone I wasn't. She liked that I was quiet sometimes, liked that I read sci-fi novels and watched documentaries about space. She cooked elaborate meals on Sunday afternoons and didn't make me feel guilty for wanting to stay in. We moved slow, took our time, built something deliberate and careful. 8 months after Keisha left, I got a text from an unknown number. "Devin, it's me. Can we please talk?" I stared at it, knew immediately who it was. She must have gotten my new number from someone, probably her cousin who worked with my cousin. I didn't respond, just screenshotted it and sent it to Jamal with a question mark. "Block it," he texted back. "Don't even engage." The next day, another text. "I know you're seeing these. You could at least acknowledge me after everything we went through together." Then another. "Marcus and I broke up. I've been thinking about us, about what we had. Then, I made a mistake, Devin. Can we just talk?" I read each one, felt something that might have been satisfaction, might have been pity, but definitely wasn't love. I blocked the number, changed my phone number the next day, didn't tell anyone except Jamal and my parents. 2 weeks later, Jamal called me. "Yo, I saw Keisha yesterday at the bodega. She asked about you. What did you tell her?" I asked. "That you moved to Denver and you're doing good." She cried, man, right there in the store. Said Marcus was cheating on her the whole time, that she moved back in with her moms in Queens. "That's rough," I said. "And I meant it the way you mean it when you hear about a stranger's misfortune." "That's all you got?" Jamal said. "Man, she destroyed you. She made a choice," I said. "I made a different one. That's it. She asked for your number. Don't give it to her." "I didn't," he said. "But Devin, she's really fucked up about this. I think she realizes what she lost." "Good," I said. "Maybe that'll help her make better choices next time." 3 days later, my work phone rang. Internal call, so I answered. "Devin Clark." "Devin, please don't hang up." Keisha's voice, cracking and desperate. "How did you get this number?" "I called your company's main line. Told them I was your sister and it was an emergency. Please, I just need 5 minutes." I should have hung up immediately. Should have reported her for impersonating family. Should have blocked this number too. But curiosity kept me on the line, or maybe it was something darker. The desire to hear her admit what she'd done. "I'm listening," I said. "You have 2 minutes." "I made the biggest mistake of my life," she said. "Marcus wasn't who I thought he was. He was seeing 3 other women the whole time we were together. He never took me seriously, Devin. I was just something fun to him. Something temporary. I'm sorry that happened to you," I said. And I was. "But that's not my problem to solve." "I know," she said. "I know I don't have a right to ask for anything. But I needed you to know that I regret everything. Every single thing I said to you, every choice I made. You were real and I threw you away for something fake." "Okay," I said. "Is that all? Is that all?" she repeated. "Devin, I'm telling you I was wrong. I'm telling you I want to fix this." "There's nothing to fix," I said. "What we had is over. It's been over. It doesn't have to be. We could try again. We could start over." "I'm seeing someone," I said. The silence on the other end was long and heavy. "You're what?" "I'm seeing someone. Her name is Simone. We've been together for 6 months. It's serious." More silence. 6 months, she finally said. "Devin, you left me for someone you barely knew after 4 months. 6 months seems like enough time to know." "This is different," she said. "We had 7 years together. You can't just replace 7 years." "I'm not replacing anything," I said. "I'm building something new with someone who actually values me. She doesn't know you like I do." "You're right," I said. She knows me better because she knows who I actually am now, not who I was pretending to be for someone who thought I was a waste of time. I didn't mean that, Keisha said, crying now. I was scared and stupid, and I said things I didn't mean. You meant them when you said them, I replied. That's what matters. So that's it? You're just done with me? After everything we built together. You were done with me the moment you brought another man into our home, I said. This conversation is just me catching up to where you already were. Devin, please, she said. I'm begging you. I know I don't deserve it, but please, just give me another chance. Let me prove that I've changed. I hope you have changed, I said. I really do, but you're going to have to prove it to someone else. I don't want someone else. I want you. You had me, I said. You told me I wasted your 20s. I decided not to waste my 30s on someone who felt that way. I hung up before she could respond, blocked the number, sat at my desk for a long moment waiting to feel something. That night, Simone came over to my apartment. She'd started keeping clothes there, a toothbrush in the bathroom, her favorite tea in the cabinet. How was your day? She asked, curling up next to me on the couch. Interesting, I said. Keisha called me at work. Simone stiffened slightly, then relaxed. What did she want? To tell me she made a mistake, I said. To ask for another chance. How did that make you feel? Nothing, I said, realizing it was true. I felt nothing. Maybe a little sad for her, but not for me. Not for us. Simone kissed my forehead. Good, she said. Because you're stuck with me now, and I don't share. I pulled her closer, breathed in the coconut scent of her hair products. Lucky me, I said, and meant it more than I'd meant anything in a long time. For months later, Keisha's best friend Tasha reached out via LinkedIn. You're being really cruel to Keisha. She knows she messed up. The Devin I knew would have had more compassion. I blocked her without responding. Then came the email sent at 3 in the morning, pages long. It started apologetic, how she'd ruined the best thing in her life, how she thought about me every day, how she'd give anything to go back. Then it shifted, became accusatory. How I'd given up without a fight. How I'd never really loved her if I could move on so quickly. How she'd been right all along. Maybe I was too passive, too willing to just let things go. It ended with, Marcus was a mistake, but at least he felt something. You're just cold. Maybe I didn't waste my 20s. Maybe I dodged a bullet. I read it twice, felt the contradictions and desperation bleeding through every line. Then I deleted it, didn't respond, didn't engage. The thing about people who leave you, I'd learned, is that they want your pain as proof they mattered. They want you to fall apart so they can feel significant. But I wasn't going to give her that. A year and a half after Keisha walked out, Simone and I got engaged. I proposed on a hiking trail outside Boulder, mountains stretching out forever in every direction. She said yes before I'd even finished asking, tackled me into the dirt, laughing and crying at the same time. We called our families, posted a single photo, started planning something small and meaningful. 2 months before the wedding, my boy Marcus, different Marcus, was getting married in Chicago. Bring Simone, he said. I want to meet this woman who got you believing in love again. I'll ask her, I said. Where's it at? Chicago, but the engagement party is in New York. You should come to that too. Most of the old crew will be there. I hesitated. New York meant the possibility of running into Keisha, into that whole world I'd left behind. Keisha might be there, he said, reading my mind. She's still friends with my fiancé. I wanted to give you a heads up. It's cool, I said, surprised to find that it was. That was a lifetime ago. Simone and I flew to New York for the engagement party. She'd met my Denver friends but never my day ones, the people who'd known me before. You nervous? She asked on the plane. A little, I admitted. Not about Keisha, just about you meeting everyone. She squeezed my hand, her engagement ring catching the overhead light. They're going to love me, she said with the confidence that had made me fall for her in the first place. And if they don't, we leave and get pizza. This was what Keisha had never understood. This ease, this lack of performance, this feeling of being chosen rather than settled for. The party was at a rooftop venue in Williamsburg, string lights and a view of the Manhattan skyline. Simone looked incredible in a gold dress that made her skin glow. I introduced her around, watched her charm everyone she met, felt something like pride. I wasn't looking for Keisha, wasn't tracking her movements, but I saw her eventually, standing alone near the bar. She looked different, older maybe, or just worn down. Her hair was straightened instead of natural the way she used to wear it, like she was trying to be someone else. She saw me, and her whole face did something complicated. Hope and regret and fear all mixed together. "Devin," she said, walking over. "Hey, Keisha," I said, genuinely neutral. "How are you?" "I'm okay," she said, her eyes darting to Simone, who was laughing with Marcus across the room. "Better than I was. I'm working at a nonprofit now, doing community outreach in Brownsville." "That's good," I said. "Sounds meaningful." Awkward silence stretched between us. "You look good," she finally said. "Happy." "I am," I said simply. "Is that?" She nodded toward Simone. "Your fiancé?" "Yeah," I said. "That's Simone. We're getting married in October." I watched her process this, watched her face try to hold together. "That's fast," she said. "2 years isn't that fast," I replied. "Right?" she said. "Of course. I just meant." She trailed off, started again. "I wanted to apologize. For everything. For what I said. How I left. I was awful to you, Devin." "It was a long time ago," I said. "I've moved on." "Have you really?" she asked quietly. "Because sometimes I feel like it just happened yesterday." I looked at her. Really looked at her. Tried to find some echo of what I'd felt. There was nothing there. Just a stranger wearing a familiar face. "Yeah," I said. "I really have. I think about us all the time," she said, her voice cracking. "About what I destroyed, what we could have been. Devin, I was so stupid. I threw away the best thing I ever had for something that wasn't even real." "You made a choice," I said. "We both did. I don't blame you for it anymore." "But do you forgive me?" she asked. "Because I need to know that you forgive me." I thought about it, about what forgiveness meant, about what I owed her. "Yeah," I said finally. "I forgive you. But that doesn't change anything between us." "It could," she said desperately. "We could try again, start over. I'm different now, Devin. I know what matters." "Keisha, no," I said gently. "Why not? You just said you forgave me." "Forgiving you doesn't mean I want you back," I said. "It means I stopped letting what you did define me. That's for me, not for you." Simone appeared then, perfect timing like she always had. "Hey baby, they're about to do toasts." She smiled at Keisha, warm and genuine. "Hi, I'm Simone." "Keisha," she managed, shaking Simone's offered hand. "Devin and I used to date." "Oh," Simone said, her smile never wavering. "It's nice to meet you." I watched Keisha take in Simone, watched her see what I'd found after her. Someone who looked at me like I was exactly enough. Someone who lit up when I entered a room. Someone who chose me every single day. "We should get back," I said. "Good seeing you, Keisha. Take care." I took Simone's hand and walked away. Didn't look back. Didn't need to. Later, Simone asked me about it. "That was her, wasn't it? The one who left?" "Yeah," I said. "She still loves you," Simone said. I could see it all over her face. "I know," I said. "Does that feel good? Like vindication?" "No," I said honestly. "It just feels sad. For her. But not for you? Not for me. Not anymore." She kissed me, tasted like champagne and promise. "Good. Because you're mine now, Devin Clark, and I don't plan on wasting a single day of it." "Not a waste," I said. "Never a waste." The next day I was in the hotel gym when Keisha found me. "Devin, please. Just 5 minutes." I stopped the treadmill, grabbed my towel, turned to face her. "Keisha, what are you doing?" "I need you to understand something," she said. "I know I don't deserve another chance, but I need you to hear me. Really hear me." "Okay," I said tiredly. 5 minutes. I was terrified, she said. Terrified of getting married young and having regrets. Terrified of missing out. And Marcus represented everything different, everything exciting and new. I thought that's what I wanted, what I needed. But I was wrong, Devin. About all of it. I understand that, I said. But it doesn't change anything. Do you though? She said. Do you understand that leaving you destroyed me? That every day since has been worse than the one before? You just moved on like it was nothing. Like I meant nothing. It wasn't nothing, I said. And you weren't nothing. But I couldn't stay in love with someone who saw our time together as a waste. I didn't mean it, she insisted. Yes, you did, I said. Maybe you regret it now, but in that moment, you meant every word. So what? She said, getting angry now. I'm just supposed to live with that forever? With knowing I destroyed the best thing in my life. You're supposed to learn from it, I said. Find someone who makes you feel the way Simone makes me feel. What if there isn't anyone else? She said. What if you were it? Then you'll be alone, I said, not unkindly. And I'm sorry if that's the case. But Keisha, you told me I wasted your 20s. So I'm spending my 30s with someone who thinks every moment with me is a gift, not a burden. She'll never know you like I did, she said. You're right, I said. She knows me better. She knows who I actually am, not who I was trying to be for someone who couldn't appreciate it. Keisha was crying now, full sobs. I can't accept this. I can't accept that it's really over. It's been over for 2 years, I said. You're the only one who hasn't accepted it. Because I still love you, she said. No, I said gently. You love the security I represented. You love not having to face the consequences of your choices. But you don't love me. You don't even know me anymore. She reached for my hand and I stepped back. That's not fair, Devin. None of it was fair, I said. But it happened, and we both had to figure out how to live with it. I'm sorry you're still struggling, but I can't fix that for you. Simone texted me then, asking if I wanted to grab breakfast before our flight. I have to go, I said. I hope you find what you're looking for, Keisha. I really do. But it's not me. It hasn't been me for a long time. I left her there in the gym, walked back to my room where Simone was packing our bags. You okay? She asked, reading something in my face. Yeah, I said, pulling her close. I'm perfect. We flew back to Denver that afternoon, back to our apartment with the mountain views, back to wedding planning and Sunday morning farmers markets and a life I'd chosen. People ask me sometimes if I ever got closure with Keisha, if I ever got to say everything I needed to say. I did, but not in the way they mean. The closure wasn't in any conversation or confrontation. It was in the moment I stopped needing her to understand, stopped needing her apology to mean something, stopped needing her at all. She thought she wasted her 20s on me, and maybe she did, but I didn't waste my 30s mourning someone who'd never deserved the best years of my life. That's the thing about people who leave you for someone else. They want to believe you'll fall apart, that you'll never find better, that they were your peak, the best you'd ever get. The best revenge isn't proving them wrong or making them regret it. It's building a life so good that you forget to care whether they regret it at all. Keisha thought she was my story, the great love, the one that got away. But she was just my lesson, the before to my after. Simone's my story, and it's a story I actually chose. A story where I'm not an option or a placeholder or a waste of time. It's a story where every chapter is better than the last, where the ending hasn't been written yet, but I know it's going to be good. That's not revenge. That's just living well. Thank you for watching all the way through. There's another story to your left screen. You'll enjoy it more than this one.